How would you like to come up with an incredible product and have someone you hate steal it from you and they make a fortune off your digital marketing idea while you starve to death? Wouldn't that be fun? Ha ha ha! Not at all. And yet, that's what happened to this guy where he could easily have solved this problem. The head of, and here's the example. The head of Post Cereals hated that Kellogg's was beating them. So he and his people came up with an incredible idea, having a little cake with strawberry, blueberry, and raspberry jam inside that you put in a toaster and get it. And when it comes out of the toaster, it's a nice warm cake you get to eat. He decided to call it, are you ready? Country Squares, and bragged about it to the media 3 months before they launched it. The head of Kellogg's was floored when he saw it and how awesome this product was. He called his people and told them to create a product just like that and to do it as quickly as possible. But he realized they needed a better name. Let me think now. It pops out of the toaster. We should call it Pop something. And wait, back then, Andy Warhol was one of the most famous artists at the time, and his art was called pop art. Hmm, awesome. Let's call it Pop-Tarts. He launched the head of Kellogg's launched Pop-Tarts a week before Country Squares was launched, of course, and their sales skyrocketed. It suddenly became the biggest selling product that Kellogg's ever had. Now, so much so that almost overnight they ran out of products in the store. Okay, they ran out of Pop-Tarts in the store. Now, to make sure no one would buy Country Squares, he actually ran apologies. He ran an apology in newspapers telling everyone to hold on for a few days while they get more Pop-Tarts in the store. So even though Post invented Country Squares, almost no one was buying them, and soon they stopped selling them. While last year alone, more than 3 billion Pop-Tarts got sold, all because they had a better name? Wow. So, how did the head of Kellogg's come up with such an awesome name? Well, here, let me show you. And it's a process that I think you'll find incredibly valuable that you can actually do yourself. Now, first, he used a tool called sense elevation. He recognized that these cakes actually popped out of the toaster. So why not call it something with the word pop in it? And back then, Andy Warhol was the most famous new artist in America, as I was mentioning, and his work was called pop art. So why not anchor the word pop art, which everyone already knew, and call the product Pop Tarts, as I was mentioning? Okay. Well, most people don't realize that these two tools, sense elevation, okay, all your senses, and anchoring are powerful psychological tools that make selling much easier than most people realize. And it's definitely something you can do if you know how. Now, to boost your sales like hotcakes while flying past your competitors, here's how these tools work. First, let's start with sense elevation. Now, we have five senses, things we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Okay? When we try to sell something, we usually pick one sense, if that many, and focus on that. But top marketers who choose an unexpected sense can often boost sales beyond what they ever expected. Now, here are a few examples. Plop Plop Fizz Fizz, oh, what a relief it is, turned Alka Seltzer into a blockbuster feel-good product for people who had an upset stomach, focusing on the sound of the product. Plop Plop Fizz Fizz. Okay? M&M's chocolate candy, uh, M&M's chocolate candy, for them, their hot slogan was melts in your mouth, not in your hand. That helped skyrocket M&M's describing how the product feels. It melts in your mouth, not in your hand. When they, for Kellogg's, when they created a new cereal, Kellogg's workers were concerned that Rice Krispies made noise when you poured milk on it. Rather than complaining, the head of Kellogg's came up with the slogan, Snap, Crackle, Pop, Rice Krispies, and that sound pitch helped it become a blockbuster. A musician, Kurt Cobain's song, Smells Like Teen Spirit, is a blockbuster. It's an awesome song. But what does Teen Spirit smell like? Ugh. Is it like a stinky smell of kids in a locker room? Yet having that smell in its title helped make it even more successful and memorable. How about Blue Emu, the anti-arthritis cream? It has an awesome slogan, Blue Emu, it works fast and you won't stink. Each one of these product names and pitches help turn ordinary products into blockbusters, grabbing your attention by waking up the brain senses. Okay, now, can you relate to that? Can you think of a sense that you normally don't mention that could really turn your product or idea into a blockbuster? Pop-Tarts pops out of the toaster. What does your product do? When trying to sell your product, walk through all five senses and watch what happens. Okay, so that's sense elevation. Then there's anchoring, where you take something that's already inside your prospect's brain and use it or slightly alter it so whatever you're selling sticks to your prospect's brain like glue because you're picking something that is already stuck to their brain like glue. Now, let's say you're launching a dandruff shampoo and you need to come up with a name. Just about everyone knows the phrase head and shoulders, knees and toes, eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. So why not call your dandruff shampoo Head and Shoulders? That's exactly what Procter & Gamble did, and the rest, as they say, is history. Their sales skyrocketed and have stayed at the top of the industry, in a large part because they chose a name that's already stuck inside almost everyone's brain. Kemmons Wilson launched a hotel chain in Memphis in 1952. He wanted a powerful name that would help the chain feel friendly to everyone. At the time, the movie Holiday Inn was a blockbuster in theaters. So he stole that name, and his chain became hugely successful because he chose a name that was already inside just about everyone's brain. The Food Network wanted to launch a TV series starring Chef Bobby Flay, who was an expert at grilling food. Since he needed to come up with a good name for the series, he started thinking grill. The show is about grilling, so grill. What does it sound like? Grill sounds like girl, and most of us know the phrase boy meets girl. Ah, why don't we call it boy meets grill? Creating a phrase that sounded like something just about everyone already knows, boy meets girl, and turning it into boy meets grill helped his show skyrocket to the top of the TV channel, the Food Network. That's anchoring, where you pick something that's already in people's brains and adapt it so it helps people know and remember your product or service or idea. And that's the key of this. That works better than most people realize, helping someone without a lot of money to launch a product that takes off like gangbusters. During Ronald Reagan's presidency, the military wanted to launch an advanced military defense system. The problem they faced is it was soon after the hated Vietnam War. And so many people protested against just about anything related to war that they feared his announcing that would launch massive protests. But if they could somehow connect it to something that just about everyone loved, that might help. Back then, the movie Star Wars had just been launched, and just about everyone was floored at how awesome that movie was. So Reagan's people came up with the idea. Why not call it the Star Wars Missile Defense System, anchoring it to something that just about everyone loved? And it worked. Naming it the Missile Defense System might have caused problems, but calling it the Star Wars Missile Defense System, that turned a potential problem into a blockbuster of success. So what about you? If you want to come up with a powerful name for a product or service you want to sell, using sense elevation, all your senses, and anchoring it to something people already love can help turn whatever you're selling into a massive success beyond what you ever expected. Now, these are two of the 14 brain triggers that I uncovered in my Brain Glue book that's won major awards because it's blowing the minds of so many people. Check it out at yesbrainglue.com. And if you like this video, click subscribe so you can get access to other videos I'm creating that I think you'll find incredibly valuable. For now, whatever you're trying to sell, start by trying sense elevation and anchoring, and share with me the unexpected and incredible results you start experiencing. Enjoy.